That 30-second conversation you're too scared to have at work is worth exactly $1 million. Does that sound like a joke? I wish it were. Most people spend their 20s working hard, getting raises, and feeling like they're finally making it, only to wake up at 40 wondering where all the money went. They aren't gambling it away or buying private islands. They're just making perfectly normal decisions that quietly dismantle their future. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid the normal trap and keep that $4 million fortune that's currently slipping through your fingers. I want to tell you about a guy named Tyler. Tyler is 27. He makes $62,000 a year. He's got a solid job, a nice apartment, and a social life that looks great on Instagram. He isn't a big spender. He doesn't have a gambling problem. He's just a regular guy doing what everyone else is doing. But here's the scary part. By the time Tyler hits 40, his normal choices will have cost him over $1.5 million in wealth he should have had. And the worst part? Tyler has no idea he's even making a mistake. If you see yourself in Tyler, pay close attention. This is how the $1 million leak starts. The first big leak happened the moment Tyler got his first job offer. He was 23 and they offered him $52,000. He was so happy to have a paycheck that he said yes before the hiring manager could even finish their sentence. He didn't want to seem greedy. He didn't want to risk the offer being pulled. But that 30 seconds of social awkwardness he avoided is going to cost him $1 million over his career. See, economists have studied this exact moment. They found that people who don't negotiate their first salary end up with a lifetime earning gap of up to $1.5 million. It's not because that first job pays so much more. It's because every raise, every bonus, and every retirement match you ever get is calculated as a percentage of your base. When you start with a higher floor, you compound upward every single year. But here's where it gets interesting. 76% of hiring managers admit they have room to increase an offer by 5 to 10%. They just won't tell you unless you ask. Tyler didn't ask. He traded 30 seconds of discomfort for $1 million loss. You don't have to make that trade. But wait, it gets even more expensive. Tyler treated his 20s like a financial practice round. He told himself he'd start investing once things settled down. Once the student loans were lower, once he moved into a better place, once he got that big promotion. But life never actually settles down, does it? It just gets busier and more expensive. If Tyler had started putting just $300 a month into a basic index fund at 22, he'd have nearly $2 million by age 62. But he waited until he was 32 to start. He's using the same $300, the same fund, and the same strategy, just a 10-year delay. That 10-year nap cost him $1.2 million. Compound interest is like a giant snowball. It doesn't care how smart you are, it only cares how long the hill is. By waiting a decade, Tyler cut his hill in half. The median retirement balance for Gen Z right now is about $4,800. That's not a safety net, that's a trap. And stay tuned, because the last mistake on my list is the one that's likely draining $200 from your bank account right now without you even noticing. Let's talk about Tyler's car. At 25, he decided he needed something reliable. He got a mid-size SUV for $38,000. His payment is $650 a month. It felt manageable. After all, the average car payment in America is nearly $800 now. But Tyler didn't look at a compound interest calculator before he signed those papers. If he had taken that $650 a month and invested it for the 6 years of that loan, and then just let it sit, he would have $660,000 by retirement. Instead, he's sending that money to a bank for a machine that loses value every time he turns the key. A 3-year-old used car would get him to work just as well, but it wouldn't give him that new car smell. Is that smell worth $600,000? Probably not. Tyler's car isn't just transportation. It's a wealth-killing machine disguised as a reasonable monthly expense. Then there's the credit card. By 26, Tyler had about $5,000 in debt. Nothing crazy, just some furniture for the move, a few nice dinners, and a flight he bought on impulse. He pays the minimum every month, about $1 and $4. He feels like he's managing it. But here's a pattern interrupt for you. At a 22% interest rate, it will take Tyler 30 years to pay off that $5,000. He'll end up paying $14,000 for stuff he's already forgotten about. That $14 burrito he bought 3 years ago is going to cost him $47 by the time he's done. The minimum payment isn't a way to pay off debt, it's a subscription to your own poverty. But here's where things really start to vanish, the disappearing raises. Every time Tyler gets a $5,000 or $7,000 raise, he feels rich for about a month. Then, suddenly, the money is gone. He gets a slightly better apartment, he eats out more, he upgrades his phone. This is lifestyle creep, and it's the silent killer of wealth. Your income goes up, but your spending recalibrates to match it instantly. You feel like you're moving forward because your life looks more expensive, but your net worth is standing perfectly still. If you're finding this valuable and want to stop being like Tyler, hit subscribe. Most people watching right now aren't subscribed, and I don't want you to miss the next breakdown that could save you thousands. Now, let's look at where Tyler lives. He had a choice between a $1,049 apartment and an $1,800 one with better light and a better location. He chose the expensive one because he could afford it. That $400 difference sounds small, right? But over a 30-year career, that $400 invested would be worth nearly $1 million. Tyler is literally paying $1 million for better sunlight in his living room. The apartment you choose is the most consequential financial decision you make because it sets your cost floor. Everything else in your life has to fit around it. And Tyler's budget? It's built on a lie. His offer letter said $62,000, so he figured he had $520 a month to spend. But after taxes, health insurance, and Social Security, only $3,300 actually hits his bank account. He's $1,800 short every month before he even starts. He's budgeting based on paper money that doesn't exist. This is how people end up using credit cards just to survive the last week of the month. Always budget based on the number that actually hits your account, not the number on the contract. The social pressure is the next big hurdle. Tyler's friends all seem to be doing well. They go to brunch, they take trips, and they post it all on Instagram. Tyler keeps up because he doesn't want to be the broke friend. But here's the secret. His friends are broke too. One is 3 months behind on student loans. Another is financing trips at 24% interest. Everyone is performing wealth, but nobody is actually building it. Research shows that 70% of Gen Z feels financial FOMO. We are the first generation to have our social lives mediated by platforms designed to make us feel inadequate. True wealth is invisible. The guy actually building a fortune is the one in the boring car who is quietly maxing out his retirement accounts while everyone else is funding their aesthetic on a credit card. We're almost at the end, but we have to talk about Tyler's credit score. He never thinks about it until he needs it. When he tried to refinance his car, his 630 score meant he got a 13% interest rate. His coworker with a 770 score got 6%. Over the life of a loan, that's thousands of dollars. Tyler is paying just for being disorganized. Your credit score isn't a grade on your soul, it's a tool. If you don't manage it, the banks will charge you a disorganization tax on everything you ever buy. Finally, the mistake that's almost funny until you do the math, the forgotten subscriptions. Tyler thinks he spends $80 a month on streaming and apps. In reality, he's spending $230. He's got 2 music apps, 3 streaming services he doesn't watch, and a meditation app he hasn't opened since January. That $150 difference? If he invested it, it would be worth $339,000 by the time he retires. He's literally trading $250,000 for a news site he doesn't read and a gym membership he doesn't use. When you add it all up, the salary negotiation, the investing delay, the car, the rent, the debt, and the subscriptions, Tyler has lost out on roughly $4 million. He didn't do anything bad. He just did what everyone else was doing. The financial system is designed to make these mistakes feel normal, because when you carry a balance or buy a new car, someone else gets rich. You don't have to be Tyler. You can negotiate that salary. You can buy the boring car. You can do a 20-minute audit of your bank statement and cancel those ghost subscriptions. The people who are financially free at 45 didn't do anything extraordinary at 25. They just did the ordinary things while everyone else was waiting for next year to start. Your 20s aren't a practice round. The clock is already running. Drop a comment telling me which of these mistakes hit the closest to home for you. Was it the car, the rent, or those sneaky subscriptions? And subscribe if you haven't. I post new videos every week to help you keep more of your hard-earned cash. See you in the next one.